Hey everybody, happy full moon. So for today, I wanted to just do a quick video to do an overview of the day. Normally when I get up in the mornings, I'll throw down a few tarot cards and then write something out about them. I just didn't really feel like writing something this morning. I wanted to talk. And and plus it's weird with me when I sit down and write it, sometimes it's like something else takes over and then all this stuff just sort of flows out. So I thought, why not try something a little bit different today? Why not just sit down and talk about it? So I'm going to throw a few tarot cards. I might throw an oracle card and then a couple Lenormand cards too, depending on what all comes out. So let's go ahead and start here. One thing to note about me with tarot is I'm not going to look at reversal. So if something comes out reversed, I'm just going to flip it back around. This is more of a guidance thing to help you through the day, to make things make sense, to, just sort of help ease the process, especially on a Monday. So let's see what we have here. And I'm also not the type to, I don't go strictly on base definitions. I think it sort of does a disservice to the artist. A lot of times the definitions change depending on what you see in the image itself. Well, I guess that's coming out. We'll throw one more down here. It's funny how sometimes they just sort of fall out of the deck. Now, I like this spread because, this is a very sort of loving spread that's coming out. The moon card is usually, well, from a base definition, it's about like the unknown. Sometimes it's about really only seeing what you want to see. When you look at her, she's kind of freaked out. She's, wandering around in this water. There's like crabs and shit, crawling up on her. These walls are closing in on her. The sky is turning sort of a different color. I mean, she looks pretty fearful to me. So, a lot of times that also has to do with just being in a situation where there's a lot of unknown. Unknown isn't necessarily a bad thing, but the one thing that I've noticed is unknowns oftentimes have a tendency to make us think too far ahead. Excuse me, let me take a drink. I know it does for me personally. I'm sadly, and I'm a super like emotional type person in general. I'm a big time feeler, but I'm also a chronic overthinker in situations, and sometimes I'll try to think ahead and try to come up with solutions to like problems before they even exist. And I think that when we do that, it gets us kind of stuck in this unknown phase. And once we're stuck here, we won't be able to see anything else that's actually going on. Because the next card that pops up here is the Six of Cups. Sometimes the Six of Cups is seen as something that's a little bit nostalgic. It's a think back to happier times, but it's also very much like a soulmate type card too. That, along with like Two of Cups and like the Four of Wands, are really the three different cards that depict that to me the most. And then we have the Six of Swords over here. And, this is this lady who's, she's trying to take a journey. She's trying to, figure things out. She's not so much stuck back in this unknown. So, I think the big time message here for today, especially for any of you out there working with or immersed in, really, really deep connections in your life with the Six of Cups is, celebrate the fact that it's unknown. Celebrate the fact that you don't really know what's going on, because I think that's the only way that we can drive things forward. So, think of any deep relationships or connections that you have in your life, or people that you're, sort of getting in tune with a little bit more. Trust that the unknown is okay. Know that it's not necessarily a bad thing. Don't look for a whole bunch of indicators and then come up with scenarios to what you can potentially do if X, Y, or Z happens. And that's something that sadly I'm famous for, but I'm just now learning to get around it. Because, surprisingly, I'm very good at what I do when it comes to like teaching and a reading standpoint. But when it comes to like my own personal situations, I have a tendency to sort of drop back into old habits, and I let things sort of spiral out of control. I'm the type that sometimes will try to read between the lines when there's not really even a reason to do so. And I think what that does is I think that gets us stuck in this. And then again, it eliminates the rest of everything else that's going on. So the overall message here today for, any really, really good connections in your life, even when they're at like a really, really deep level, just flow with it, ride through the water, take a journey, enjoy things for what they are, and absolutely keep yourself in a very present state. I'm a big time believer, and I'm just now learning how to apply this to my own life, that a lot of the times, we just need to remember that the only thing that's ever really guaranteed to us is this moment that's going on right now. I think when we get really focused and celebrate the moments in our lives and celebrate the right now, I think that's when everything else opens back up. I learned this myself yesterday. I finally got myself into a good place, and it just seems like bam, all of a sudden I was able to feel things again, and I was able to see things much, much better. So that's sort of the road that I'm taking, and I would encourage you to try to do the same for today. Now, let me throw down just a couple Lenormand cards too. I think it'll help to give some additional clarity. That is assuming I can get these going. It's still a little bit early. I'm a big time fan. This is kind of random, but I love these lemon Rockstar recovery energy drinks. Didn't have any coffee here this morning, so I guess that's my morning wake up stuff. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, and I think this kind of tells the same story here. I'll be honest, this feels very, very relevant to me because again, I'm the type that gets stuck in my head too much. When you're stuck back here in this unknown, if you find, you feel like things are closing in on you today, or you're confused and you're sort of looking for scenarios to get around things or come up with ideas, or if you get yourself immersed into sort of a negative pattern of thinking, it's going to create a whole bunch of mountains for you. Mountains in Lenormand are obstacles, they're challenges. And then when you have the clouds next to the mountain, that's even worse because you may eventually get over the mountain, but then you're just walking right into confusion. So again, it's just another message for these folks right here, or any of the really strong connections in your life, just to travel through the waters. Again, I am just now learning this. And I mean, it is what it is, because sometimes things in life come through to you that are just more important than you could ever imagine. You don't really know what they are. You just explore it, you enjoy it, you take it for what it is in the moment. It's really, really challenging, I think, sometimes when these incredibly deep feelings sort of enter into the picture, because everybody likes to protect themselves. But sometimes, again, I think you just have to take it for what it is. Don't get so immersed in, oh no, what if I make myself vulnerable? What if I do this? What if I do that? Yada, yada, yada. Just let all that stuff go, flow. Remember that you only have the right now, because that's going to blow open everything for you again. I think that makes just a tremendous difference. Now let's see what pops out here. I don't necessarily know all the definitions of these yet because I just got this deck. I don't know what I think about it yet either. It's slightly different than I expected. I just got it because I thought the art was cool, but we shall see. And another thing that's kind of cool here about this Six of Swords is it has a lot to do with maybe some experiences that you've had too. I think a lot of times the experiences, when they're new, they can throw you down into the obstacles and clouds if you try to focus or analyze on them too much. So be comfortable in this spot. Know that it's okay to be there. I don't mean to keep going on and on about it, but it really just seems relevant to me today. And I have had some wild experiences personally as of recent. And, last night, like I mentioned too, or well, actually yesterday afternoon, when I realized that I have a big problem thinking ahead, and I got myself out of that mindset, it's like everything just opened right back up again. So you can apply this stuff to really any area that makes sense to you, whether it's personal life, whether it's, connections in your life, whether it has to do with basically anything. Just know it's always okay to be in the unknown and just journey yourself forward, especially when emotions are involved. All right, let's see what we have here with these. Well, these are still all stuck together. I'm gonna grab one more of these. You know, this one is kind of cool. It has a lot to do with family type stuff. You know, people sharing with each other. I think it goes in line with what we saw up there too. I guess it's Snow White and Rose Red. I know who Snow White is, but I honestly have no idea who Rose Red is. But you can just see them exchanging, and you know, both of them are peaceful. There's birds here. They're happy. They're both at peace. They're sort of enjoying things for what they are. And I think again, that's kind of what it just all comes down to. You know, I don't necessarily know what the actual definition of this card is, but it doesn't really matter because to me, it just goes directly in line with the Six of Cups we see up here. So before I just go on and on and on, you know, just remember for today, it's okay to be in the unknown. But if you get trapped there and you start seeing things that you only want to see, which again, you know, I can raise my hand on that one because I've done it, you're going to end up with obstacles. You're going to end up in the clouds and you're going to potentially, you know, affect, you know, this beautiful stuff that's going on in your life where, you know, all this peace is, all this contentment is. So take the journeys that you need to take, stay in the now, and just get out there and enjoy your day. Keep a really, really peaceful vibe about you. And I think that you'll have just sort of a fantastic Monday, as well as a really, really good full moon.